Hi everyone, Sue Matsuki here for Nightlife Exchange with another Sue's Muse, but this is the PV, the Puerto Vallarta version. And today I have the delightful task of talking with the lovely Dorothy Bishop, who's currently down in PV. I just came back, so I know what this woman's going through. Hi Dorothy, welcome. I'm so happy to talk to you.
Great to be here. I can't believe you're already back in freezing cold New York.
Oh, the coming
Let's
back home was not fun. Was not fun. There were a lot of delays. There was snow and oh, anyway, I don't wish that
no.
on my worst enemy. But I want to talk to you. How's it going? You've done two shows of a four-show run already. How
Yeah.
have the two shows been so far? What's your response to the audience down there?
Well, the first show was great. I had a lot of friends, like 8 friends fly in from California who were here. And then, of course, the opening night people come, the people on the board and all that. So I had what felt like at least the full
Yeah, I
downstairs.
was there that night. It was a
Yeah,
responsive house. It was a very
responsive
responsive house.
house.
Yeah.
Not too many glitches, not too many things went wrong. The wigs were behaving. So I had a first night. The second time, which was last night, we had to do the red carpet out front first, and that my wigs were outside, so my wigs got all humid. I just forget what humidity does to wigs. So
Yeah.
the wigs were kind of a mess all night. I was fighting with them. Like in my face, or they just weren't behaving. And then we had some electric outages throughout the whole city. Which
Okay.
I would say didn't stop the show, but they delayed the show a little,
Yeah.
and the sound was just never quite right. So, and it was a smaller crowd, and not a lot of gays, and I felt like some people didn't really know what was going on. So it was kind of a rough night. I mean, fortunately, I had friends there. David Mayako was there. I could hear Dawn Del Rose was there, and they were cheering me on. I was like, okay, and I knew Mexican TV was there as well, so I just performed,
Yeah.
as best I could. But there were some definite mess ups, just with the humidity causing a
Tell us
lot of it.
about your show. Now, I remembered seeing, if you don't know, Dorothy is the master of voices, and she does a dozen divas, but you do more than a dozen divas. You've added a few new divas. And I just want to say this, I'm not blowing smoke up your dress, but I saw her show. I haven't seen you in a long time. Last time I remembered seeing a full show was back at the Metropolitan Room, back in the day. And so you've added some new divas, some contemporary ladies that are in movies and stuff like that. How do you choose the next lady that you want to put into your act, and then who do you kind of like let go of if you're doing 12 at a time? That's got to be a hard decision because you love these ladies, right?
Then that's a great question. And like I'm working on Chapel Roan, like a comedy mashup of her. She may appear while I'm here. She'll definitely be in my show in New York in March. But I'm like, I can't ignore this kid. There's too much funny. I love Pink Pony Club. There's so much you could do with it. I was even thinking of having the Phantom of the Pink Pony Club. He's Christine.
You've also added Jennifer, the lady from White Lotus, too.
Jennifer
She's
Coolidge, I
fairly
did
new.
once, but no one knew who she was
Oh,
here.
see, I
So I
thought she
took her
was
out.
hysterical. Yeah.
I took her out. I mean, maybe I'll put her back in next week. And then I add Chapel Roan. And then I do Madonna by herself selling makeup, which we're having trouble with video. So if that happens, then I have another Madonna thing I can do. Um, and I mean, I do the older ones, I do Peggy Lee sometimes in New York. Um, and then there was somebody, and then of course during the Halloween show, I go into the American Horror Story characters.
Oh,
Yeah. And
wow.
aside from Elvira.
Yeah.
Um,
And you
and
do this bit. She's got this video of Judy Garland, aka
Which
Dorothy.
didn't work last night. Wah.
Oh my goodness, though, but that is the funniest thing. Judy just keeps falling off her chair. And then she is Barbara on stage, and they do the, classic Barbara Judy duet, Happy Days Get Happy, but it's genius. And I also want you to know that if you ever go to see Dorothy, and you will and you should, this is her voice. This is her real voice. And it's not only can you imitate the nuances physically and vocally of these singers, you separately have a spectacular voice that can literally do anything. I mean, any note you want, any belt, it's here. It's incredible. I've never heard a woman with so many colors in one voice
Thank
ever.
you.
No,
Thank you.
congratulations. It was so impressive.
Thank you. I keep threatening to do like a regular cabaret show.
Oh, would be
which
nice
is
to
my
get to know
voice.
you a little bit, but
Yeah,
do you study voice? I mean, were you,
a
how did you
lot.
get that? Yeah.
Well, I was classical, and then I worked, but I just didn't work enough. And finally, my teachers and my managers were like, "You really need to go to Europe." And it was such a like tricky, like you just didn't know. It didn't mean you were guaranteed a career. And I at the time loved my country, and I didn't want to leave. And so I just stayed. And my coach was like, you were always funny. Is why don't you just take a break? Because what was happening was I was getting so uptight about everything that my throat was starting to close off and I wasn't singing well. And
Mhm.
it was an emotional thing. And he was like, you need to just take a break, leave New York, go have fun, do something. So that's when I started the cruise ships and I built a show, which actually was opera because I did a lot of the Sarah Brightman stuff that was really
Right,
big in
right.
the early 2000s. I still had this urge to be funny, so I started making the show funnier and funnier until I finally got fired. But I developed it for about 10 years and I was like, I don't want to do opera. I really want to do a comedy show. And I saw that tribute acts were starting to move up and get hired a lot. So that's when I developed the Dozen Divas, which was in a really dark time because I had just lost my mother.
Hmm.
I was just flailing and it gave me, and I stopped the ships and I didn't really have I mean, I was temping and stuff, but I didn't know what my next job
Mhm.
was going to be as far as long term. And so the owner of the Iguana Club, we used to all go there, and Dana used to do shows there, and
Right, with Dana Lord,
they
yeah.
let me do it in the basement. They were like, "We could only have the basement." I was like, "We don't care." And so me and James Jordan and my now one of my managers, Erica, she would do Marilyn Monroe, and we just did this Night of Divas and built it up from there. And then it got picked up at the Metropolitan Room.
How do you choose a diva or do the divas choose you? Are you just like watching TV and you go like light bulb? How does that happen?
Like that.
Yeah.
I choose them. Unless people start really requesting.
Mhm.
And then if it's someone that I just can't do, I just go, sorry guys, I want to do it, but I just know my voice won't do that. But uh and also what's happening in the world. And I used to be a lot more political before
Mhm.
politics got so extreme,
Yeah.
Roman politics as well. And we decided not to do that because
Mhm. Yeah,
people,
that's a fine line for me too as an entertainer. I keep politics out of it because even though you think you know your audience, you might not. And we're there as
yeah,
entertainers and not preachers. And, if I were hired by the Democratic National Convention, I know what show I can give there,
right.
that type of thing. So I'm cautious with that as well. And I think it's smart.
Yeah.
Is there any diva that you've done that people just didn't know who they were? Like you were saying, Jennifer wasn't really a big hit down there, but I'm sure she's a hit up here.
If I do Renee Fleming, they don't always know who she is. They think it's funny because I'm doing, an opera singer trying to sing pop
Yes.
music or Broadway music. So that in itself is funny. But a lot of times they didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do, oh, no, no, what is that song? There's a French diva I really want to do, and not Edith Piaf,
Mhm.
the gorgeous redhead. Um, she's long gone. She was from like the 40s and the 50s. She was from Egypt. I can't believe I can't remember her name. It'll come to me in a minute.
Mhm.
Anyway, she sang this very tragic, so tragic and over the top that it's almost funny. And I always
Mhm.
wanted to put it in. It would be hard.
That's like Portuguese fado. Have you ever heard the Portuguese
Yes.
fado? They're like,
Yes.
you don't know what they're saying, but you know it's so horribly tragic.
Mhm.
Who do you still think you want to play with in addition to the people that you've mentioned already? Is there anyone else like on the back burner?
Well, like I said, Chapel Roan is probably the next one.
Mhm.
And um Celine Dion was my biggest challenge because everybody kept asking me to do her, and she is so not like my voice.
Right.
So I have to make her very, 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 very funny. And even when I'm in the middle of it, my brain will go, "You don't sound like Celine." I'm like, I'm just trying so hard to narrow her down because her voice is very, pointy and thin.
Yeah.
Uh, that was my hardest one that I recently put in. And then, like I said, Chapel, and then who was somebody else? Somebody wanted, I keep getting asked to do Dua Lipa. I got to study them more. Um, I do Cyndi Lauper sometimes,
Mhm.
and My friend's birthday's coming up, and so I'm gonna have to do Blondie. So I got to figure out that one. But I'm definitely more comfortable with like the 70s and the 80s divas and some 90s.
And
Uh,
tell me, how much is your extra baggage charge when you travel? How many bags do you travel with? You have to see the gear she has on stage. It's gorgeously made robes and feathers and boas and gowns and oh my goodness. And then the wigs.
yeah, the wigs. The
I
wigs
mean,
need
literally, how many bags do you travel with?
it's two.
That's
I,
it?
sometimes I can get away with one small suitcase and a roll-on, but the new Cher wig I bought is so big,
Yeah.
and you don't want to. You can smush them, but it's better they have space. So I have I guess the biggest legal size suitcase that you can get on the plane, and then a medium, and then I just check them. So it's $100 every time I fly,
Ugh.
100
Tell
extra.
me
And
what you
the dog,
Tell me what you think about the audiences down in Puerto Vallarta. I found the people that came to see me were people that knew what I did and
right?
responded that way and really liked what I did. And I got beautiful feedback, especially from the Mexican TV people too, which you said they saw you. You're more, not that you're gay centric, but your audience draw is more, fabulous gays and
Yeah.
stuff. So how do people react to you down there?
I
Because you have
had
a mix of both those sponsor types and the beautiful gay community, right?
Yeah, I had the sponsor types were hugging me and saying how much they loved it. And of course, I believe the gays loved it. Then last night, I don't know who those people were, and I don't even know if they liked it. I really don't. They were like this in the front, but sometimes you'll see people like this in the front, and that's just their face, and that's their happy face, and you don't know, you know?
And they're very complimentary at the end of the show. You're like,
Right. And you're
where
like,
was that?
I was like, I thought you were going to walk out, you know? So it's hard to say. When I came here 7, 8 years ago, it was only gay. It was gays and girls, women. But you did not see a lot of straight people here. So I'm not sure what Michael's plan is. If he maybe because there are so many gay cabarets here, he's trying to make it more of a straight cabaret.
Yeah.
I don't
No, I
know.
think it's a mix of everything. And I think that David produced like the Cabaret Icon series, the Broadway Icon series, and then the Gay Icon series, which you were in. And, so I think he has an idea of where he's going. I mean, this is all the first season of this, and
Yeah.
it's a learning curve for everybody, including us as performers.
Right.
I gave him some feedback on what I thought could market what I do better down there and everything. But I'm looking forward to talking to Dawn Duro, who I'll be speaking with later. When are your next shows coming up? Give us a little commercial of your next shows.
My next shows are Monday and Thursday at 9:30 p.m.
At Act Two, Puerto
At
Vallarta. So since
2
this
right
is
here.
going out to all those Facebook groups and everything, please go see Dorothy. You will not be disappointed. And I mean, you're not just seeing Dorothy, you're seeing Judy and Barbara and you name it, and Eartha Kitt. I mean, you're seeing amazing, amazing work. I applaud you, and I had such a good time at your show. Please go
Thank
see
you.
Dorothy. Have a great day, my friend, and thank
I
you for
loved your
sharing
show as
some.
well. It was
Thank
beautiful.
you. I
I'll
appreciate
look
that. I'm
forward
glad to be home. I'm exhausted.
and I'll see you in New York. I'll see you in New York.
You will indeed. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time on Nightlife Exchange. Have a great day.